This is me driving in Ecuador at 4,500 meters above sea level to Cotopaxi volcano. And yes, my car is barely moving even with the gas pedal floored. If someone told me this would happen before my Ecuador trip, I wouldn't believe them. But let me start from the beginning. I drove over 2,000 kilometers through Ecuador from Otavalo in the north to Guayaquil in the south. Before my trip, I couldn't find much information online about driving here. When I asked in Facebook groups, everyone told me not to drive because it's too dangerous. Did I listen? Nope. In fact, I found driving in Ecuador actually safer and easier than in major US cities. Let me share my experience with you. First thing you need to know, forget about Google Maps tells you about driving times. Let me show you a real example. This route from Baños to Cuenca is about 331 kilometers, but it took us 8 hours. Why? Most highways here are single lane with constant curves and elevation changes. You'll spend a lot of time behind slow trucks, and safe passing opportunities are rare. But don't let this discourage you. The views along these routes are absolutely worth it. If you're planning to explore beyond main cities, like we did with Cotopaxi volcano and other destinations, get a car with high clearance. I'll show you why. Look at these roads. They start decent, but get progressively rougher. We also had to take several detours during our trip, and having a suitable vehicle made all the difference. While 4WD isn't always necessary, but high clearance definitely is. Now, let me show you something nobody talks about. Driving at high altitude. At 4,500 meters above sea level, watch what happens. I'm pressing the gas pedal completely, but the car barely moves. Engine performance drops significantly, braking feels different, and you burn fuel much faster. Always keep your tank full when driving in highland areas. Don't make the mistake of letting it get too low. Gas stations can be far apart. The road conditions really surprised me, in a good way. Most main roads are well maintained, especially toll roads. And speaking of tolls, they are incredibly cheap, just $1. And here's what the toll roads look like. One unique aspect of driving in Ecuador is the roadside life. You'll see vendors at major intersections selling everything, from fresh fruit and snacks to electronics and frying pans. And yes, those are dogs just lying on the road. You need to stay extra alert, especially around curves. Unfortunately, we saw a few dogs' bodies that were smashed with cars. In cities, the experience varies. Quito's traffic was surprisingly manageable. Guayaquil is busier and more aggressive, similar to LA, but still nothing too crazy. Local drivers rarely use turn signals, so always anticipate unexpected moves. Now let's address the biggest concern most tourists have: police interactions. In the past 12 years, I haven't had a single problem with police. My secret? Nothing special. I just follow the rules and speed limits. We didn't see any police checkpoints during this trip, but even if you do, staying within the law means you have nothing to worry about. Let me share some tips based on my experience of driving in Ecuador. When renting a car, always choose unlimited mileage. Here's why. A typical rental might limit you to 100 kilometers per day. On our trip, we averaged 200 kilometers daily. Those extra kilometers can double your rental cost. For navigation, forget Google Maps and use Waze instead. Waze is far more accurate in Ecuador. About rest stops. While there aren't traditional rest areas, gas stations are your best friend. They all have restrooms, but here's an important tip: carry your own toilet paper. Trust me on that one. For some reason, Ecuadorian public washrooms usually don't have toilet paper. If you have any questions about my driving experience in Ecuador, please drop them in comments. And if you found this video helpful, please hit the like button. It really helps my channel to recommend to more users, so more travelers will see this video who might need it. Want to know more about traveling in Ecuador? First, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and also I've put together a complete travel guide covering everything from accommodation costs to hidden spots you won't find in tourist guides. The link is in the description below. Thanks for watching and safe travels!